Yes, good morning, nice and early from Amsterdam, the Netherlands, and all the way from Sydney, Australia. Anastasia is back, so I'm very happy. Welcome, Anastasia, again. And it's a juicy topic today, talking about feminine and masculine dynamics and practices. And for those of you who didn't have a chance to meet Anastasia before, Anastasia Cortez is an Ukrainian born, an Australian author, public speaker, life coach, and philanthropist. And after being a strong competitor in bodybuilding for 9 years, she found a new passion working with women globally, sharing the wisdom of a true path of love that makes an ordinary relationship an extraordinary one. And she works with women all around the world. She has an amazing presence when she enters a room, she lights up the room. And this is something very important for all of us to know. What kind of energy do we bring into the space we are coming in? And welcome, Anastasia. Thank you so much for being again. Um, you know that before we start, we have this, we have our tradition to center in the present moment to work together the sacred experience that we're going to co-create. Okay. So it's going to be around a minute or less. So let's just close our eyes and feel our body. Just notice how's our body right now. Are the shoulders relaxed or tensed? Is your face relaxed or tensed? Our pelvis, legs, arms. And let's connect with the breath and notice how deep the breath goes into the body. And I propose a mantra, So Hum, which is the sound of the breath. So you can say it in your mind 3 times. On the in breath, so, on the out breath, hum. So, hum. So, hum. So, hum. Take a big deep breath, and when you're ready, just open your eyes. And we are ready to rock and roll. Hi, Anastasia now.
Hi, Catalina.
So good. Today we talk about the feminine and masculine dynamics and practices. And Anaya Doda was commenting, the most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart.
Oh, how beautiful.
How beautiful. So, masculine and feminine energy and dynamics is not only in relationship, but it's also energies inside of us.
Absolutely.
What do you need to do with those? Because some people prefer more to um, spend their life in a certain energy, in more in masculine or feminine. Why is what are they, and why is important to dance with them?
Right. I would like to go back to the history of how like our ancestors were communicating between each other, and then it would allow you to understand the difference. Before we even would start talking about masculine and feminine, let's define specifically what masculine is and specifically what feminine is, so then we would have a clear definition so we wouldn't confuse them too, because we both have masculine and feminine. And to say that I only want to live in feminine, that would be incorrect, because I would be disowning my masculine. And if anything, for me, it's a beautiful dance within me. And I don't have to choose one or another. I can actually use both. That, and they both are serving me. So back in the day when males would go hunting, if you would think about it, when men hunt, they don't talk. They don't want to scare the animals. And also when men hunt, usually they hunt on one animal. So they would have only one target and they are focused on one thing at a time. So now you can see the pattern of a masculine energy. It's focused on one thing, it's determined, it's action driven, and it has a target, which is one thing. With feminine, though, back in the day, women were gatherers. So we would gather berries. How we would gather? We would talk and communicate and converse. We would tell you verbally where to go, behind which tree there would be mushrooms or berries. And also, if you would walk into the room, me being a woman, I know that my child is at the back, fell down. I know that my husband is over there. I have those six senses, and I have so much going at the same time. And Catalina would remember when we would, every time we would interact, we can talk about five subjects at the same time.
Yeah. And one more thing, back in the times also, women took care of each other. So in the caves, even during that time of the month that actually women, most of the women would menstruate in, there are women that were menstruating the same time, and they would brought to the end of the cave deep down, so the other women could take care of everything. Those who are menstruated would go and then stay, and they were taken care of, and dream, and would come out with the dreams, which were very much respected by the other women, because they were said that their dreams bring the wisdom and the fortune of the future. So we have also this kind of taking care of each other, and also being open for others to take care of us. That was in the past.
That is so spot on. And Catalina, I admire you. You were the one who taught me something that, the menstrual cycle, it's something very sacred.
Yes,
And, the ceremonies that people do during that period of time, they're very sacred too.
yes. It's
And
conscious menstruating, it's called. Yes,
and
very
that's
important.
and that's very, very important. I don't know if you would like to share that like now or later, but I found it very
Yes,
beneficial
yes,
for me personally, because I've never heard about that in my life. And the thing is, that's why us feminine, we are always in the constant flow. So for us, I would introduce the concept of 3F. Feminine, it's fun and flexible.
yes,
We can go, like, for example, when we talk about the evolution of a man, the evolution of a man goes like that. That means that first he is born like a prince, then he becomes a knight, then he becomes a king, then he becomes an eternal. With us, with women, we can be all of that in one day. I can be
yes.
proud, I can be a queen, I can be a goddess, I can be a mom, I can be a saint. So, but for us, for females, we've got access to these multiple personality traits,
Yes.
and that's why we have that beautiful feminine energy that is always in a state of flow.
We are
So
cyclical, men are linear, more linear, if you want.
that's exactly right. And I know for me personally, the biggest breakthrough was when I was challenging men, when I was competing with men, when I was very direct and, leading business and, very, there was a lot of tension. That was
Yes,
in my core. that was my masculine mask that I was putting on, being not confident as a woman in my feminine. Now I know I can be more powerful even in business, running business from a feminine core. And I can be still playful and assertive. But
Uh, yes, yes. A healthy feminine shines with attention. A
yes.
wounded feminine, what it does, because there are emotional wounds not healed, tries to hide or overcompensate, getting into more masculine energies because they are not, um, if you want, um, flexible or open to receive attention in a very healthy way. Yes, I'm here and I deserve to be here and I lead with my feminine. So that's work for many, many, many of us to who walk the path of integration of both energies.
And now we have a choice.
Yes. What was the turning point for you? So you say that you were in the past were going into the masculine a lot.
The thing is,
Me as well. And
I just didn't have a good enough role model in front of me.
exactly.
So my mom raised me that I have to be strong. And when I would fall down, she would smack me. And she said, if you're going to cry, I'll smack you again. So you have to be tough because life is tough. So, and
Yes.
I adapted her model of the world and
Yes.
I believed the lies she believed. So
Yeah.
that I have to be strong and have to be like always be independent, do not trust men. And I was growing up and that's all I knew. So and then the turning point was for me when I've realized that the concept of who am I in my core. And I remembered myself being a little girl. I was very girly and I was very trusting and I was very open and I was fearless and I always liked playing with Barbies and the girls, and I had a tomboy in me as well. I absolutely loved climbing the trees and everything. So and then I started thinking and asking myself a question: who do I want to be in a relationship? And when I've done the process of how do I want to feel in a relationship and how my man should show up to make me feel this way, then I've realized that for him to see me and actually pick me as his woman, I need to show up. If I want him to be strong masculine, I need to show up as a strong feminine. And
Absolutely.
I attracting feminine men and emasculating them because I wasn't living in my true self.
Yeah. I I had a similar thing. Say, I think we because we come from the same area of the world with actually very deep old culture and very strong energy and very strong feminine energy, as a matter of fact, which got wounded in the past during also communism and so, and the non-existence of feminine strong role models at the time we grew up led me also to lead with the masculine and got in banking and so. Can you hear me well? The
Yes.
sound is good. Okay. And what happened in 2013 or 12, I don't remember, is it 12? I think I went to a course, The Art of Feminine Presence, with Rachel Jane Groover. And that was a major turning point for me because I started to descend my energies into the core of my being. And then I went and did a 5-year apprenticeship in all feminine art. So I traveled all these wounds, all these emotional wounds, and all the wounds related to the feminine and to the integration of those. So there is work to do if we want to open up to life, to feel life, right? In a feminine well as well.
And it's matter of awareness. My
Yeah.
my husband, I believe he is the biggest reflection of me because when the old conditioning would come up and he would look at me and he's like, oh, you think you're a gay boy? So
Ah,
and that he would call my masculine behavior as a gay boy. And that gives me an understanding that I don't want to compete with him. And then I would explain to him. So I said, honey, what looks like anger as a matter of fact of fear.
Yeah.
So it looks like I tell him like you are this and this and that, but the truth is I feel insecure that for whatever reason, you won't be able to get the visa and we won't be able to look together. But for me, the stepping stone was it's an awareness that rather than being angry at my partner, it's actually to catch myself that what I actually feel and what
Oh,
looks
it's so beautiful, Anastasia, what you're saying, and I so applaud you for this, because what we tend to do in life, something happens, so in order not to feel the pain, we go and project on the other because it doesn't feel painful. But what you do, you reframe the whole thing together with him, right? Which means that such a level of consciousness that you use actually the incident, the event, in order to bring the attention not outside but inside.
inside.
And it's so beautiful, so beautiful. And it probably took you some time, right? And some work to do in order to reach this level.
Well, my gift was, when we argue or when we compliment even each other as women, what we tend to do, like I would say, for example, oh, Catalina, like, I love this dress. And usually, oh, it's so old. Like, oh, I bought it like many years ago. Majority of women, and Catalina, you're absolutely different because you actually have a beautiful trait of actually receiving and making making me feel like good that whatever I say you actually receive. And majority of females, they brush it off. And same with our partners. If I would tell him, for example, your behavior is not really good, rather than actually listening and say like, wow, thank you for letting me know, bringing my attention that is your experience. It doesn't mean I'm wrong. It just means
Yeah,
that you experienced me in that time in such a manner. Usually we try to, but look at yourself, look at what you do, and we
we
completely.
divert.
Yes, and then that's how the fight arises. And I remember speaking with Sage Robbins. She actually taught me something. She's like, honey, why don't you write down everything that your ex-husband is saying to you? And why don't you actually look and see if there is a truth in that? And there is definitely some words might be not true, but if you be honest, completely honest with yourself, you can always agree that it is his experience of you at that time.
Yeah,
Because people, when they're angry, they're completely honest. And for me, when I started writing it down, and they were the most hurtful words I could possibly hear, but for me that was a growing up to do. When I woke up and I actually admitted, yes, was his experience, yes, that's how I showed up, and yes, that was completely my responsibility for the relationships that were failing,
yeah,
which before I was completely in the blame game, that it's his fault, his fault, his fault.
yeah,
And it's never the case. It starts always with you, and everything that you think about other partner, it usually reflects you. So rather than to say he is stressing me out, try to think I'm stressing myself
yeah.
out, rather than
Yes.
to say, like he is an idiot. Just try to apply it, I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
How it feels. That was so beautiful, because the feminine, if you think about it, and again, like, I'm always asking myself, if I when I catch myself, am I being feminine at the moment? Am I being of my value? Am I being kind? Because with my daughter, talking about the psychology of personalities, I thought she needs a Wonder Woman. And I always, for my daughter, I
as a
always,
mother, you mean?
as a mother, but I was like, I thought she needs a Wonder Woman. Like, look at me, how strong I am. Let's do this. Let's go and achieve. And then I realized that when I actually stepped in her shoes, and I'm like, if I was a little like 15-year-old girl, would I need a Wonder Woman? Hell no. I don't need that. I just need somebody who is like a Saint Anastasia, which is actually a real character, somebody who's loving, loving, connecting,
Yeah.
forgiving, understanding.
Yes.
So I shifted my identity around it. And like, I don't know if how many women are now on the call, but that's what I started role playing with my husband. So my powerful feminine name, it's Anastasia. With my daughter, I'm Saint Anastasia. When I lead teams and when I work with my clients, I'm a Wonder Woman. And when we have like a sexy role play, I can say I'm Angelica. And then when my husband is like, where is my Angelica? I haven't seen her for a while. He's like,
Yeah.
hello, woman. And it brings me like, I know it's like you need to call the dog, you need to name the dog for that to
Yeah.
come. And that helps me to be aware of my feminine and masculine, because my masculine is a gay boy.
Right. And to be able to call the dog and to answer that in a way that the dog answers, you need to embody that dog. So that personality. So it's a matter also of being conscious about it and then practicing and getting into that because it is in us,
Absolutely.
right? And you were mentioning, that's so beautiful. Just a few minutes ago, you were mentioning about the fact that we can be the whole thing in one day because we move from one personality to another, as you know. So how do you dance with these feminine and masculine energies during the day
So
yourself?
it's interesting. Like I just got qualified on the disc analysis training, and then like disc analysis, it's a for behavioral. Like they say, like all people are different, but they're predictably different because we
Yes.
have or similar behavior that actually can be predictable. It's interesting. We can exhibit one particular behavior, but we will exhibit a total different behavior under pressure.
Yes, of course.
So I realized that I, for example, go into my masculine when I'm under pressure, when I'm uncertain.
Yes.
And that's how, like, and when I'm confident and total in my feminine, and when, like, I also feel I go into my masculine when I'm disconnected with my creator and when I don't have trust.
Yes.
So that's how, like, for me, like as soon as as soon as I feel that I'm in my masculine, it's really good when my husband is nearby. He usually he helps me to see that if there is nobody, I just I keep asking myself a question. For example, what do I feel right now? Is it fear? Is it anger? What is it all about? So rather
Yeah.
than to be in the reactive, I
Yeah.
try to give myself that 2 5 millimeter time, like to stretch a little bit.
Yeah.
Like when the impulse comes in, I try to have at least 2 3 4 5 seconds before I can choose my
Yeah.
response.
That's great. And I always say there are different ways to go to the destination. For me, for instance, when I need to, I'm very conscious about, okay, I have this project, I need more of the more active, more direct energy. I go to it. And then I remember, to get this is also my intention that I cultivate every day to have what is my default. um, and the default I want, and I aim for myself to nourish the feminine part, and then I can go and access the energies as they are necessary for certain contexts, and then come back. And this is, it's a life path, it's a life work, because it's not always easy. um, Especially also with the conditioning, and it's social conditioning as well, right? And I'm not talking here also about it's a culture of pornification that not many, some women understand that feminine is being super elegant and manipulative in the same way, and this is not what I'm talking about. True feminine is not manipulative. True feminine is center, is beautiful, is sensual, is gentle, yet powerful, but not manipulative, right? So you see, because we have a big power as women, right? We have a very big power when we when we get and connect with our feminine energy. This is a very powerful energy, and it's the idea how you use it.
Absolutely,
how we
absolutely.
use how we use our feminine energy. So do you see this in with your clients all around the world? We see women trying to uh, you know use their feminine energy more in a manipulative way, which is, oh, I got the power now, or what do you do with them?
Um, the thing is, I used to be very manipulative myself, and I never forget the day when I was talking to a friend of mine who was a divorce lawyer, a very smart man, and he said, and I complained to him. I said, "Why do I always attract manipulative guys?" And he's like, "Why do you think so, Anastasia?" And I'm like, "Wow, because I'm manipulative." So I was manipulating men to use my sexuality, but it wasn't to serve the man. It wasn't to honor the man. It was a mask. It was a
Yeah,
fake facade. And the thing is, you can manipulate, not a problem. And I became very successful in that, but I never felt fulfilled. So
yeah.
I would get
Which
my.
you show to your heart, actually, you see? So your heart was wanted more. Yeah, yeah.
And if you can see, like, my heart is closed, because when you manipulate, if you think about it, you and your head. When you
Yes.
had
Not
your head,
only head and the sexual energy, but the heart is not, right?
the heart is not. So that's why there is no flow. So you manipulate the man staying in the head, and even if they do as you told, it would never give you that blissful feeling of fulfillment and of freedom. Because now when I'm with my husband, and I'm coming from a serving, how can I meet your needs, to honor masculine, I feel so fulfilled and protected. And I've realized that now I don't need to wear a mask. I can be totally myself, sometimes even crazy, and like, and all over the place, and excited, and and crying. And because being part of a girl, I don't believe in saying like, oh, no, no, you can't be angry, you can't feel sad. No, use those emotions to create a greater good. Sometimes we need to, like, crying is a beautiful thing, because it's a release, it's an exit point. Being angry, it's a beautiful thing, because if you realize it's your fuel, use it as a
Yeah,
drive to create, like, to go forward, rather than completely disown that feeling. I always acknowledge that feeling, and to say, like, like, I feel this, and I give it a time and a place, and that is
yes,
beautiful, rather than to constantly fight it and make yourself wrong for feeling certain way. I remember sometimes I would cry with no reason. Nothing happened, and I'm crying, and I would make myself wrong, and I would fight it, and it
yeah,
creates so much resistance. Which now I more go within, and I listen to my intuition, and I'm asking my body. And you females, you're so gifted, because you're all connected to your intuition, and you just
yeah,
need to do whatever it takes to make sure you can listen to that inner voice that is
yeah,
always there.
yeah. Anastasia, I need to tell you this because every time I talk to you, I notice these many qualities, but just this combination of honesty with bravery, which is a pathway to your vulnerability, and and kindness as well. The way you always come up so pure, and then you open the layers, you just open the doors, and you're so genuine, and it's such a privilege to connect with you every time because it's a great energy. So let's move on and talk about, I've been with my husband 20 plus years. So I think there is very important, when you cultivate a relationship. Now we move from our own dynamics, masculine and feminine, to the masculine dynamic in the relationship. And for us, we both studied sacred sexuality and tantra, and it just brings the relationship to a new level. And there are many beautiful practices, and I can share one with you that actually it's a practice that we can do with a child. It's a practice I can do with Anastasia, with my friend. It's a practice you can do with your husband watching television, stopping and connecting, or it's a practice that you can do, of course, adapt it when you make love.
Wow.
And it's a very simple tantric practice. Would you like to do it with me?
I would love that.
Yeah. So normally you have two people watching each other, and there are 3 points of contact. And one, I can imagine that I touch here, I touch you here on your chest, but I touch you on your chest, and you touch me on my chest, right? Exactly. And then we start breathing. So this is the second part of connection. Yeah. And we just connect our breath. Yeah. And the third point of connection is looking at each other And the tantric way is you look left eye to left eye, which is the enters in the unconscious in the feminine brain. So with camera, it's different, but I'm looking at your left eye, and that is how we fall in love with each other. So the breath, the left eye to left eye, and the physical touch or energetic touch in this case. And this, how do you feel?
I feel so connected to you. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Even we are so exactly. Even you are. I'm Amsterdam. You're Sydney, and I taught this practice years ago to my children. They are teenager now, but when they were very young, and they would do this. So children can do this. Um, Friends can do this. It's a deep connection, and you can do it with your husband, with your partner. And then you can do this also in the during the lovemaking process when you coordinate the penetration to this one. So this is more advanced work, but it's a beautiful way to connect and also to connect these feminine and masculine energies in the same way, right? And anchor it.
right. Katerina, I never forget. Once I went to tantric class, and
Yeah.
it was a 3 hour class, and there was a husband and wife there. And the woman who was a conductor, she was showing the breathing, and she actually experienced an orgasm without touching, just with her breath.
Yes. Yes.
It was amazing to see that how we are connected to our breath and how powerful our breath is. But the funny part was then she's like, thank you so much for this beautiful like 3 hour class, da da da. And the husband looks at the wife and he's like, this is it, and that's it. So he was so disappointed because he thought, that tantric, it's actually intimacy, it's a whole process, which in fact it's not. It's connected through the
Yes,
breath.
of course, of course, of course. And it's energy, right? Because you can have orgasm on different, on your thyroid, on your throat. You can have, but this is a different topic. For maybe we can talk about tantric practices in the future in one of our
I think,
talks. What do you
but
think?
I would love that because I personally is also researching that there is also an Om, it's a feminine meditation,
Yeah,
which is a sacred practice between a man and a woman.
yeah,
And there is another one. When I was asking two women, I said, is it really, I don't believe that it's possible to feel the orgasm through your throat, right? And the women
it
told
is
me,
very possible. I can tell you. Yes. And they are very powerful. And the problem is with women, but it's for another time. They limit to the orgasm down when you can have a
the
much
throat.
more um, a full body or different organs orgasm. So it's a
Yeah.
beautiful. Anyway, but that's for another time. I love you. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, and I will see you next time. And thank you so much.
Thank you,
You know,
Catalina. Thank you for all the listeners.
you're very generous. Thank you. And let's close this from left eye to left eye. If people take one thing, let's take this because you will fall in love again. So I'm looking at your left eye. Thank you so much, Anastasia. See you next time. Everybody have a wonderful day. And may the universal energy nourish your feminine and masculine energy. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Bye, Anastasia. Thank you. And Katie Gohar, love you. Love you. We love you. And regards, she's in Los Angeles. So,
Oh,
yeah, it's Katie Gohar. Thank you so much, Katie. Love you too. Bye.